O yan. Isang magandang hapon po sa ating lahat at malugod na pagbati mula sa Future Earth Philippines. Again po, bago po ako ma-start, pa-heart react po kung ako po ay naririnig. Ayan po, salamat po. Welcome po sa ating lahat at welcome po sa ika-86 episode ng the Filipino SDG Action Hour. Muli nyo kaming samahan sa isa't kalahating oras ng exciting at makabuluhang talakayan tungkol sa mga bagay, paksa na napapanahon at tiyak na kapupulutan ng aral at karunungan. Sa hapon pong ito, pag-uusapan po natin ang topic na Addressing Livelihood of the Farmers and Nutrition of the Children through Local Dairy Development. Sa usapin pong ito, mahalagang talakayin ang kahalagahan na ma-develop at mapagyaman ang sektor ng local dairy industry upang matugunan ang pangkabuhayan ng mga local dairy farmers at mapunuan din ang pangkalusugang pangailangan ng mga kabataan at ng ating populasyon. Alam niyo po, yung ating pong panauhin sa prinsipyo po ng pagtulong sa mga kababayan natin na ma-develop po yung local dairy industry, umikot ng kanyang buhay at career. Nagtapos po siya ng Bachelor of Science, Master's degree at Doctor of Philosophy in Animal Nutrition, specialization po sa Ruminant Nutrition sa UP Los Baños. At alam niyo po ba mula noong 1993 hanggang 2014, nanilbihan po siya bilang researcher, extension worker, and eventually naging administrator po siya ng Department of Agriculture Philippine Carabao Center or DAPCC sa UP Los Baños bago po siya nalipat sa PCC National Headquarters sa Nueva Ecija bilang Executive Director. Siya po ang namuno sa programang Enhancing Milk Production of Water Buffaloes through Science and Technology Intervention na nakumpleto po niya at ng kanyang team noong 2019. Ang kanyang hindi matawarang husay at dedikasyon bilang scientist ay siyang nakatawag ng pansin sa mga award-giving bodies and leading institution in science and technology. He was recognized as Outstanding Young Scientist in 2000 and Scientist One in 2014 by the National Academy of Science and Technology Philippines Production. And noong pong 2017, Philippine Society of Animal Science Distinguished Fellow po naman ang kanyang na-receive na award. At during his time at PCC, he published over 50 articles in both ISI and non-ISI journals, conferences, proceedings, and 17 papers on books and chapters. And right now, he has been serving as adjunct professor at the UPLB Graduate School and has been actively involved in mentoring graduate students specializing in dairy science. His appointment as professor under the non-tenure track was recently approved by the UP Board Regent at ngayon po, siya po ang current director ng D3 UPLB. Kaya let's all welcome the pride of Mount Makiling at ng Institute of Animal Science sa UP Los Baños, academician Arnel Del Barrio. Dr. Del Barrio, welcome po sa Future Earth Philippines.
Well, magandang hapon po.
Sir, medyo choppy po ang ating connection.
Magandang hapon, Mark. Salamat sa napaka-generous na introduction.
Sir, pwede pong pa-off po ng camera. Medyo nagahang po tayo, sir.
Mark.
Ayan po, sir. Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Better po, sir. Paki-share na po na ating screen.
Okay, thank you. Kumusta, Mark?
Okay na po, sir. Yan po.
Update
Nakikita po
naman.
namin.
Okay. So, again, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Pasalamat sa ating mga kasama sa NAST. Isang very thankful ako kay National Scientist Lulu Cruz for giving me this chance to share what we have done for the last 30 years. And syempre sa mga kasama ko sa academe, sa NAST as an institution na tumutulong sa mga kagaya ko, ano. So my topic today is related to my advocacy, which is paano ba natin matutulungan yung mga magsasaka, no? Especially itong mga magsasaka na sa lupa, no? So alam ko may mga advocacies din para sa non-terrestrial programs, but this is about the role of the development of the dairy industry, addressing livelihood of the farmers, and of course, addressing the nutrition of the children. So ito ang aking advocacy at gusto kong i-share sa inyo yung ilang highlights ng aking mahabang journey sa pagtulong sa ating mga magsasaka at sa ating mga kabataan. So, my outline will include the short discussion about the Philippine dairy industry, some notes about poverty and malnutrition rate, the Philippine Carabao Center program, and I will highlight a specific project on Carabao-based business improvement network, the impact of the National Feeding Program on farmers' income, as well as nutrition of the farmers. And I will end my presentation with some take-home messages. Mark, okay pa ba ang sound, Mark?
Yes po, okay po sir. Okay po yung ating
Okay,
connection.
so before I continue, I'd like to again highlight my career advocacy. So sabi nga ni Mark kanina, binagit niya na ang gusto ko talaga makatulong, no, to help the farmers out of poverty and at the same time reduce malnutrition of the children through our dairy program. So I started my work along this line. When was that? 1983, when I joined a project implemented by Picard. So batang-bata pa po ako noon at hanggang ngayon ay dairy industry pa rin ang aking pinagtutuunan ng career. So gusto ko pong magbigay ng ilang data on dairy production para lang po magkaroon tayo ng perspective dahil ito po ang magbibigay sa atin ng ebidensya para tulungan yung industry. So alam po natin may mga agencies that are working hard to develop the dairy industry, but despite the improvements in production, the Philippines supplies only 1% of its total annual dairy requirement. And the rest imported. Yun po yung sinasabing 99% ng ating iniinom, kinakain na dairy products ay imported. Okay? Production growth has been slow due to our inability to increase the number of animals in the Philippines. So, at marami pa pong dahilan. Okay? At noong pong 2022, the recorded local milk production was 30.28 million liters. Okay? Tumaas po yan from comparing yung 2021 and 2022, malaki naman po ang increase. That's about 10 to 12%, no? So, mayroon po talagang effort, but the effort is not yet sufficient to cover yung ating demand. Okay? So, at base po sa computation ng National Dairy Authority, ang per capita consumption po natin ay 27 kilos, no? At ito po ay galing sa local production at 30.28 million liters. So, at may imports po tayo na 3,350 million liters. At mayroon din po tayong export, ibig sabihin kabawasan doon sa ating supply. Then the total available milk, no, for consumption is 3,272 million liters in liquid milk equivalent. So ganun po yung measurement. And kung i-compute natin po ito based sa ating current population, which is about 115 million, then our per capita consumption is 27 kilos. Okay? So dagdagan ko pa po yung table, yung mga data about the industry. Tumataas po ang bilang ng dairy animals taon-taon. At comparing po yung 2021 and 2022, tumaas po ng halos 6%. At yung iba pang indicators of the data production like dams and heifers, bilang ng dairy animals, milk production, at yung milk production per day ay tumaas po lahat. So ito po yung mga indicators that our local industry is growing. And if we look at the contribution of goats, carabao, and cattle, makikita po natin dito, based on the colors, ang kulay po ng goat ay ito, dilaw, blue ang carabao, and cattle ay green. So ito po yung contribution in terms of the number of animals. So to summarize the status of our dairy industry, we can say that last year we produced 30.28 million liters. This is based on the report of PSA and NDA in 2022. And out of this number, 53% of the milk is produced by cattle. That's about 16 million liters. 36% from buffalo. That's about 10.9 million liters. And the contribution of goat is about 9% or 2.7 million liters. Okay? So siguro ang papasok sa isip natin, sino ba o saan ba makikita yung mga top producing regions? Ang top producing region po natin ay ang Calabarzon. Okay? Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, and Quezon, followed by Central Luzon. So gusto ko rin pong banggitin na ang average production ng dairy cattle is about 8.24 liters at ang buffalo ay 4.73 liters at ang kambing ay 1.21 liters per day. And because of this production level, makikita po natin kung bakit mataas ang production ng cattle compared to buffalo, and the lowest share was accounted for goats. So, ito po ay isang reality na pwede rin nating maging basihan para ituloy natin yung development ng local dairy industry. Base po sa report ng DOH, ang poverty rate is 22.4% or about 25.24 million Filipinos in 2020. So, bumaba po yan compared to the 2021 data having 23.7%. At ang malnutrition rate po natin among Filipino infants and toddlers is 21.6%. and the data is persistent over the last 10 years according to DOH. So if we connect the two, poverty rate and malnutrition rate, ang sabi po ng DOH, the most important and critical factor is poverty, kahirapan. When the family is poor and the families cannot eat nutritious food, it will end up to malnutrition. Okay? So very direct po ang connection ng malnutrition rate to poverty rate. Okay? So I got some data from reported by Save the Children report in 2013. So quite medyo old data, but this is relevant to our discussion today, indicating that the cost of hunger, okay, ang cost of hunger po is an estimate of the social and economic impact of child undernutrition and provides evidence supporting the investment in human capital for sustainable development. Makikita po natin dito that in 2013, the total cost of hunger amounted to 328 billion pesos. Yan po ay galing sa loss of income due to lower educational achievement, educational cost, and lost productivity due to premature mortality. So, medyo malaki po yung values justifying our discussion later on that if we develop the local dairy industry, it will help address itong hunger. Okay? So another data from UNICEF. So nasabi dito na malaki po talaga ang losses from children suffering from undernutrition. And the cost is around 220 billion a year. And we have over 29 Filipino children under 5 years old die each year. Ito po yung masamang balita, and so marami po yan. And unestimated 4.8 billion yearly is needed for very key interventions, especially during a child's first 100 days. Okay? So this is an important data that every 49 pesos invested to address undernutrition, there is a return of 587 pesos. So yung pong 50 pesos natin today will increase 10-folds in terms of benefits. Okay? So I will highlight the Philippine Carabao Center because I served this agency for 27 years. And I feel that this program is very relevant in addressing hunger and malnutrition. The Philippine Carabao Center is implementing the Carabao Development Program, having 3 major components. Component 1 is about the improvement of the animal. We call it Genetic Improvement Program. The second component is about the development of the owner of the Carabao. Okay, the program is about Carabao-based enterprise development. And the third program is about development of technologies, technical training, and some policy intervention through research and development. Combining all these 3 programs or program components will address animal productivity, will address increasing income of the farmers and farmers' empowerment, And research, any research that will be generated, or technologies that will be generated will improve the productivity of the animal as well as income of the farmers. So just to give you a brief background of each program component. Ang genetic improvement program po ay tungkol sa pagpapataas ng production at pagpapalaganap ng development ng superior dairy animals to the level of the farmers, with the end in mind of improving meat, milk, and drop capabilities of the animal. In the first picture, this is a very old picture taken during the Picard-funded study. Ito pong dalawang buffalo na ito ay magkasing edad. This is our native buffalo, native Carabao, and this is a crossbred Carabao, which has potential for meat and potential for dairy. So, dito po natin makikita ang effect ng genetic improvement program kung gusto natin paramihin ang karne at paramihin ang gatas. Ito pong native Carabao can produce 1 to 2 liters of milk per day, and the crossbred animal can produce 4 to 6 liters per day. So, ito pong findings na ito na ginawa namin, kasama po ako sa team, ginawa namin simula noong 1983 at 1982, ito po ang naging basihan para magkaroon ng institutionalization ng Carabao Development Program. At ito nga ay tinatawag nating Philippine Carabao Center, an institution that is devoted to develop the Carabao. So marami pong ginagawang activities dito, kasama na po yung Carabao Upgrading Program through artificial insemination. Yung AI po ang isang tool, isang gamit na pinalawak namin nationwide para magkaroon ng transformation ng animal from this type of animal, just a working animal, to a multi-purpose animal that can produce meat in the case of the male animals and milk in the case of female animals. The second is research. Since we are dealing with the native animal and we're thinking of transforming the animals into a new type of animal, then we should do a lot of research. Okay? So, mayroon po tayong ginagawang research on semen collection, semen production, to produce a lot of frozen semen that can be used for a national AI program. And of course, we do some research on dairy technologies to develop products that can be marketed. So, ang pangatlo po ay itong tinatawag naming Carabao-based enterprise development. And we do this following the value chain approach. So, when we say value chain approach, we cover activities from production, processing, marketing, and PCC and other partners are providing support services. So in production, we have of course the milk production, and then the female can be fattened, and we do breeding, and we help in feed production. So in processing, we assist them in milk collection, milk processing, and product development. And finally, those products have to be marketed, distributed to the consumers. So this is how we implement the program. I will highlight one program that was implemented, I think, way back in 2014, 2015. We call this Carabao-based Business Improvement Network. This is CBIN in short. So this is a customized and improved version of our National Impact Zone and Regional Impact Zone models. So this is led by PCC and in partnership with concerned local government units and other government entities like cooperatives, smallholder farmers, agri-entrepreneurs, and other interested stakeholders. So the key objective is sharing of resources in complementary programs for and in support of these multi-parties development convergence projects. So this is to create collaborative opportunities in a project, a province-wide project on CBIN. And of course, as PCC, we would like to provide assistance to all Carabao owners by linking and facilitating their inclusion in the creation of new ancillary enterprises along the Carabao-based enterprises. So in short, we followed the recommendation of the findings in the value chain analysis conducted by Lantican et al. In 2018. So tiningnan po natin kasi ang value chain is a strategic process that aims to increase the profit margins of the stakeholders. So nakita po natin itong different tasks involved in the dairy value chain. Actually, based on the results, mayroon pong 5 major tasks. Ang una po dyan ay itong input provision that will include the provision of the animal, provision of forage materials, and other inputs needed like concentrate feeds, etc., etc. The next step is about Carabao growing that will end up to milk production. Nandito po, involved po yung ating mga dairy cooperatives, associations, tinuturuan po natin, binibigyan ng mga modules, iniipon po natin sila into groups like associations and cooperative. And ang end po nito ay yung milk, no? And that milk has to be collected, stored under task 3. And after collection and storage, the milk can be processed and marketed to different areas. So that's the whole of the dairy value chain concept. Okay, CBIN has 4 components. Ito na po yung program implementation part. So divided into 4 components: the production, the processing, and the marketing and capacity building and technical support services. So in production, main activity is entrustment of the buffaloes. In one model, so we are entrusting 50 dairy buffaloes. So mayroon pong provision of processing equipment. So maliliit na processing plant. At meron din tayong allocation to establish a market outlet. So ang tawag po natin ay dairy box. So dairy box is a brand for all stores selling dairy buffalo products following high standards of quality and adherence to food safety. And as of today, sabi po ng Philippine Carabao Center, mayroon na pong 94 dairy boxes all over the Philippines. And the last component is about capacity building and technical support services to capacitate the farmers. And of course, the provision of support services to all the stakeholders. So, ganyan po namin tiningnan ang program implementation. Okay? And ito po yung mga sites as of 2022. So, 94 dairy boxes. Pare-pareho po ang itsura niyan at makikita natin all over the Philippines. Next, ang gusto ko pong i-share sa inyo ay isa pang legislation that institutionalize the milk feeding program. This law seeks to address the nutrition concerns of the children and also provides livelihood opportunities for the farmers. So ito po yung isa sa pinakamagandang legislation that will directly address yung nutrition and livelihood ng ating mga magsasaka. And pagkatapos po ng 5 taong implementation ng milk feeding program, mayroon na po tayong nakikitang data to measure the impact of the national feeding program in the gross income or in the income of the farmers. Ito po ay based on the latest report ng Philippine Carabao Center. Makikita po natin dito yung number of cooperatives. Dumadami po yan. Nag-start ng 30 noong 2019 and now 45. Dumami rin po ang number of farmers, 1,120 noong 2019 at ngayon ay 1,909 farmers ang involved. At kung titingnan po natin itong huling column, nag-start po yan sa 175 million gross income at ngayon po ay 539 million pesos. At kung i-compare po natin yung income from 2023 at 2024, tumaas po yan ng 33%. At I tried to compute kung ano ang contribution ng milk feeding program sa bawat magsasaka na nag-participate dito, 282,723 pesos po ang naging gross income ng farmer. Ito po ay under DepEd. Kasama po sa implementation ng milk feeding program ay ang DSWD. At base po sa data, ito rin po ang recent data presented by the Philippine Carabao Center. Makikita po natin, actually the same co-op ang nagsusupply din po dito, yung na-present natin kanina. So dati 8 cooperative at ngayon ay 28 cooperatives. At katulad kanina, ito rin po yung bilang ng farmers. Nagsimula sa 1,381 at ngayon 1,909 farmers ang involved. At comparing po yung huli, no, itong nahuli, meron po yung increase na 23.42%. At bawat magsasaka o bawat contributor, dairy farmer dito ay kumita ng additional 92,000 pesos. So, ito po ang clear manifestation na nakakatulong po ang milk feeding program sa gross income ng ating mga dairy farmers. Siguro nasa isip nyo, nasaan po ba sila? Baka naman nasa Metro Manila lang lahat, di ba? So ito po ang mapa, nagpapakita ng distribution ng mga cooperatives na naging supplier ng gatas sa milk feeding program. So ito pong blue na ito ay dito po ang National Office ng Philippine Carabao Center sa Science City of Muñoz, Nueva Ecija. At mayroon po silang 12 stations all over the Philippines. Mayroon pong 5 sa Luzon, mayroon 3 sa Visayas at may 3 sa Mindanao. At makikita po natin itong mga bilog, ito po ang mga PCC-assisted suppliers. And they are all associations, cooperatives, and associations. Bakit gusto ko pong ipakita sa inyo ang mapa? Gusto ko po lang sabihin na ang development is happening from all over the country. Okay? So ito po yung breakdown ng dairy boxes. Ito po yung mga tindahan. Kung nasaan man kayo ngayon, out of 94, may iba-ibang stages ng development. 44 na po ang operating. Mayroon pa pong 3 na ready na for inauguration. Mayroon pong 20 na tapos na po at naghihintay na lang din ng completion or inauguration. May 23 na under construction at may 4 na for rehabilitation. So yan po ang isang indication na development is happening all over the Philippines. Kasunod po nung aking mga ipinaliwanag ay gusto kong i-share sa inyo itong livelihood and milk feeding program initiatives na ginawa po namin sa Philippine Carabao Center, katuwang po ang DSWD. Ito po ay isang document na nakatulong po para maging batas ang milk feeding program. Ito po ay about pilot nutrition and livelihood intervention through a milk supplementation program under the Supplementary Feeding Program and the Sustainable Livelihood Program of DSWD in partnership with the Philippine Carabao Center. Ito po ay napakahirap na trabaho dahil this study involved 10,054 children from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Ang namili po ng locations ay DSWD. Ano po yung objective noon na aming pinag-agrihan? Gusto po naming ma-measure ang nutritional status of the children before, during, and after 120 days feeding, milk feeding, and also to determine the immediate outcomes. Okay? Okay, so ang kasunod po ay yung malaman din namin ang outcomes or impact of the livelihood intervention dun po sa mga dairy farmers na nag-contribute sa feeding program. Nakatulong daw ba ito sa livelihood nila? Okay? So, meron po akong series of tables that will be presented. Ito na po yung summary. Katulad ng nabanggit ko, ito po ay isang pag-aaral na nag-cover ng 10,054 children. Ito po yung mga provinces na pinili po ng DSWD. Ito po yung mga municipalities o municipalities involved. At sila po ay binigyan ng gatas, pinainom ng gatas na libre sa loob ng 120 days. At yung nakakompleto po ng 120 days ay 9,860. Hindi po lahat nakakompleto. Ito po yung bilang, ito po yung data before in terms of weight, at ito po ang data ng mga bata in terms of weight pagkatapos ng 120 days. At ano po ang resulta? Pagkatapos po ng statistical analysis, makikita dito na mayroon pong significant mean differences in the children's weight before and after supplementation. So ang laki po pala ng epekto ng pag-inom ng gatas sa timbang ng mga undernourished children. So nakalimutan ko pong banggitin, ang mga involved po dito ay mga undernourished children selected or chosen by DSWD. Ano naman po ang epekto ng pagpapainom ng gatas sa height, no? Sa tangkad ng mga kabataan? Okay? Ganon din po ang nangyari. Tiningnan po yung kanilang height bago ang milk supplementation at sinukat din pagkatapos ng 120 days at tiningnan po yung statistical significance ng data. At yung may mga pula po ay nagpapakita ng significant mean differences in terms of children's height before and after milk supplementation. Except po dito sa San Fernando. Okay? May nakita po tayong increase but yun pong difference was not significant. Again, pwede ko pong sabihin na malaki rin ang epekto ng pag-inom ng gatas sa height o sa taas ng mga kabataan. Ito naman po is about nutrition. So mayroon pong ibinigay na categories ang DSWD. Yung po mga kabataan ay pinaghiwa-hiwalay po nila based on these categories. Ang una po ay severely underweight. May underweight. Siyempre, may tiningnan din yung normal at tiningnan din yung overweight. So ito po ang different nutritional status of the children. At pinainom po sila, ito po yung data before the milk feeding program at ito po yung data after the milk feeding program. So, ano po ang resulta? Makikita po sa lahat ng categories, makikita natin na yung incidence po ng malnutrition among children beneficiaries has been reduced after the milk supplementation program. Sa category po ng severely underweight, bumaba po ang proportion ng severely underweight from 186 children to 46, no? So ang laki po ng pagbaba. Or ang dati 1.83, bumagsak po sa 0.47 na lang yung severely underweight children. Para naman po sa underweight children, bumaba din po from 897 to 354 children or 8.83 before the milk supplementation down to 3.59%. For the overweight, nagkaroon po ng decrease, no? From 50 to 40 children or bumaba from 0.5 to 0.4 children. So, makita po natin dito ang direct effect ng pag-inom ng gatas sa loob ng 120 days. So, tiningnan din po namin yung mga naging milk suppliers. Ilan po ba? Binilang po namin. Ito po ang total na nag-participate during the milk feeding program. Sa Nueva Ecija po, nagkaroon ng 22 milk suppliers. Sa Bohol, 108. Ito po yung mga magsasaka. Sa Bukidnon, isa. Total po ay 130. At in addition to dito sa milk suppliers, may mga na-hire pang additional workers to work on the process. At tiningnan po namin yung income generated from the process. Ito po ang naging income ng mga farmers from Nueva Ecija and Bohol. At base sa computation po, nagkaroon po ng ROI, yung return on investment. Sa level ng milk processor, 19% sa Nueva Ecija and 22% in Bohol. So, gusto ko lang ulitin na kumita na po yung farmer, kumita rin po yung milk processor na siya namang nag-process ng gatas para isupply sa milk feeding program. So, to connect to my title, gusto ko pong sabihin that yung any development sa ating local milk, no, dairy industry can help address SDG 1, 2, and 3. SDG 1 is about no hunger. Okay? SDG 2 is about, no poverty. SDG 2 is about zero hunger. So, may income po, may gross income, at sila ay may magkakaroon ng kakayahan bumili ng pagkain. And of course, makikita din natin yung contribution ng local milk development sa SDG 3, which is about good health and well-being. So, ano po ba ang naisip kong mga mensahe para sa inyong lahat? Yung kahirapan po is real. Poverty is real. Totoo po yan. Marami talagang mahirap na Filipino. And malnutrition is a direct effect of poverty. Also, human development like height, yung weight, and yung health, okay, is affected by malnutrition. So I'd like to convey this message that developing the local industry can help address poverty and will contribute to the reduction of malnutrition in the Philippines. And we have enabling laws. We have RA 11037, the milk feeding program. We have RA 7307, creating the Philippine Carabao Center. RA 7884, creating the National Dairy Authority to make this dream happen. So with that, I'd like to end this presentation by saying thank you to all of you. Mabuhay.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Arnel, sa napaka-insightful po na topic. So, malinaw ba po sa sinag ng araw na napakalaking bagay ang magagawa na baguhin kung bibigyan po natin ng lakas at suporta ang local dairy industry sa ating bansa. So, with that, If wala na pong questions, maraming salamat po sa pag-join sa amin ngayong Friday. See you next week. Same time, same place, same channel. Have a great weekend.